Imagine waking up one morning and realizing your entire world is about to disappear. Not because of war between armies, not because of famine, but because strangers arrived with ships, chains, and a system designed to erase you. This is not just a story about slavery. It is the story of how 400 years reshaped the world we live in today. And it begins long before the ships ever reached the shore. Welcome to Echoes of History, where history never dies. In the early 1400s, Africa was not a continent of chaos, as it is often portrayed. It was home to powerful kingdoms, advanced trade networks, and complex societies. The Mali Empire controlled gold that fueled Europe's economy. Great Zimbabwe built massive stone cities without mortar. The Kingdom of Benin produced artwork so detailed that Europeans later claimed Africans couldn't have made it. Africa was connected, organized, thriving. Then, Europe changed. By the late 1400s, European powers were desperate. They needed gold, land, and labor. Their economies were expanding, but their populations were small. So they looked outward. At first, contact with Africa was trade: gold, spices, ivory, and yes, enslaved people, but on a limited scale. Then the Americas entered the picture. When Europeans invaded the Americas, millions of indigenous people died from disease and violence. Entire populations collapsed. Plantations remained, profit remained, but labor vanished. That's when Africa became the target. In 1444, the first large group of Africans was forcibly taken to Europe. By the early 1500s, the transatlantic slave trade was fully underway. What followed was not random violence, it was a system. European ships would sail to Africa loaded with guns, alcohol, and manufactured goods. These were traded for human beings. African captives were forced onto ships under conditions so brutal that death was expected. The Middle Passage was designed for profit, not survival. People were chained side by side, barely able to move, surrounded by disease, darkness, and despair. Many jumped into the ocean rather than endure it. Those who survived were sold like livestock in the Americas. This system became known as the triangular trade. Europe shipped goods to Africa. Africa supplied enslaved labor to the Americas. The Americas sent sugar, cotton, tobacco, and wealth back to Europe. Every part of it fed the next. Between the 1500s and the 1800s, over 12 million Africans were taken across the Atlantic. That number does not include the millions who died during capture or transport. Entire regions were destabilized. Communities were turned against each other. Raids became constant. Trust collapsed. Africa was not just losing people, it was losing its future. In the Americas, slavery evolved into something even darker. It became racial. Laws were written declaring Africans and their descendants as property for life. Children inherited slavery at birth. Conversion to Christianity offered no freedom. Education was forbidden. Slavery was no longer temporary. It was permanent, inherited, legal. In the Caribbean and Brazil, enslaved Africans worked on sugar plantations where life expectancy could be less than 10 years. In North America, slavery became tied to cotton. By the 1800s, cotton was the backbone of the global economy. Every shirt, every sail, every factory built on enslaved labor. And yet, resistance never stopped. Africans rebelled on ships, they poisoned overseers, they burned plantations, they escaped. Some formed free communities like the Maroons, others led revolutions. In 1791, enslaved Africans in Haiti did the unthinkable. They defeated France, Britain, and Spain, and created created the first Black Republic. The world panicked. Slaveholders everywhere realized something terrifying. Slavery was not unbreakable. By the late 1700s and early 1800s, pressure began to mount. Britain abolished the slave trade in 1807. Slavery itself followed in 1833. The United States abolished slavery in 1865 after a civil war that killed over 600,000 people. Brazil was the last major country to abolish slavery in 1888. But freedom on paper did not mean freedom in reality. Formerly enslaved people were released with no land, no compensation, no protection. Meanwhile, slave owners were paid for their loss. Africa faced a different nightmare. Just as the slave trade ended, Europe turned to colonization. The same powers that had drained Africa's people now carved up its land. Artificial borders were drawn, resources were extracted, cultures were suppressed. By the early 1900s, almost the entire continent was under foreign control. 400 years had passed. 400 years of forced labor, economic theft, cultural destruction, and the effects did not disappear. Wealth accumulated in Europe and the Americas. Underdevelopment was locked into Africa. Modern inequality did not happen by accident, it was built. The global economy we live in today still reflects those patterns. Who owns wealth? Who controls trade? Who struggles to recover? Slavery officially ended, but its shadow did not. And understanding this timeline is not about guilt, it is about truth. Because you cannot understand the modern world without understanding how it was built. 400 years, one system, global consequences. And history is not finished with this story yet. Because what we remember and what we choose to forget will shape the next 400 years.